This college football coverage is sponsored by Bob Moore Kia of Edmond.
Reviewing back to the Texas game again, it's a good, hard-fought team win. Really pleased when you can go into a game and score all different ways. You know, the special teams with another kickoff return for a touchdown, defense with a pick six for another touchdown, offense in the second half when we needed some to separate, you know, made a couple of big touchdowns and a couple of nice drives. So overall, you know, we took care of the football, didn't have turnovers. You know, those kind of things were all positive. Anytime you win that game, a rivalry game like that with Texas, to bring home the trophies and have them in our locker room now for another year, it's always positive to do that. We recognize there's some areas we've got to keep improving on. In particular, you know, we had some mental breakdowns on third down on defense, and then just some execution details on offense on some third downs, whether it be receivers, route running, and spacing, whether it be going to the proper side of the formation in the particular route that we have on according to what defense they're in. We just need to execute better in a lot of those areas. We'll continue to work on that, you know, hard this week. There are things that can be corrected. You know, again, some of it is stuff that we have had corrected, and for whatever reason we break down and make a mistake again on defense on a time or two that really hurt us. So. Leading into the Kansas State game, again, another team that's really playing well. Really, their only loss is a really tight loss to Auburn. Really, I think missed 2 or 3 field goals. I want to say 3 field goals, and I know had a touchdown drop in the end zone. So a team that in all likelihood could have beaten Auburn, and really playing well. Coach Snyder and their group, of course, always do an excellent job. So we've got a lot of work to continue to do here this week. And, you know, fortunately, we're back home after almost a month on the road. You know, hopefully that'll help us in a little ways as well.
You know, you talked about third down. You're in third and long a lot, and that hurts your third down conversion. And you talk about execution. Do you look at it now and say maybe we might do things differently as far as play calling?
On third downs?
Or, no, on first and second down.
Yeah,
you're in third and long.
Some of it has to, you know, we've got to be more efficient, you know, in some of those situations. Definitely, you know, give Texas credit in some of that. The other day we had some plays and they. You know, they're about to come open and they get off a block and clog up the hole, and you know, so they've got good players and they played well in some of those cases. You know, by getting off of blocks and making plays. So, but you know, you stick with it. It's just like, you know, the play Samaje P. Ryan scores on and goes untouched for about 20 yards or 15, whatever it was there. It was a similar play that was getting beat up earlier in the game, and all of a sudden it's hit just right, you know, so you have to keep with it.
Bob, when you run that zone read mesh, can you get out of the running game what you want if Trevor doesn't run? I don't think he pulled it and ran one time in the game.
No, that's you know, that's a case where, you know, again, depending on what they're doing, he'll have other opportunities, but you know, that has to be a little bit part of it too.
You guys went up tempo there in the third quarter. How much did that kind of help you guys get going offensively?
The first downs helped us get going. That in execution, not the fact that we went up tempo. You know, is the fact that we executed.
Devontae Bond played a lot in the second half. He's healthy now. Can you talk about what he can do to add to your defense?
Yeah, Devontae's an exceptional athlete. Great power, size. Really, he's got like 4.5, 4.6 speed, really fast to go with all that power too. So we've got to, you know, he's going to have an opportunity to stay on the field more and have more opportunities.
What's your injuries?
Same as right now. It's the same as last week. It's the same today as it was last week. We got about 6 days or so till the game, but.
Bob, specific to Trevor, is he making his progressions, his reads, seeing the receivers he should?
I'm not going to sit here and detail, Trevor. There's some parts of our passing game, I said that earlier, that all need to be better. Sometimes the receivers are putting him in a bind. Sometimes at different times the protection has put him in a bind. The other day there's a time or two where, the read where he's going with the football, isn't correct. So therefore he put himself in a bind. So a little bit of everything at different times has allowed it to be as inconsistent as it is.
Why do you think the defense was inconsistent?
It's made mental mistakes. For instance, with the defensive backs not communicating with each other, roll one way. They don't all roll the same way that they're supposed to roll, so therefore we don't have it. There's no one in the middle. Why that happens, it shouldn't happen. It's hard to say. They're guys that have played. Another time we're in man coverage. One guy's anticipating that the safety's going to cut his underneath route, and man, because of the alignment of the receiver, he doesn't get acknowledgement from the safety, so the safety's not ready for it. So we turn a guy loose. That shouldn't happen. All they got to do is talk to each other, and so we'll keep emphasizing it, and they have to be on the same page, and you got a lot more opportunity for success if you're all on the same page, and again, why they would not do that, it's hard to say,
It looked like both TCU and Texas beat you at the line of scrimmage on offense and defense. Do you agree with that? And if so, does it surprise you?
Beat us at the line of scrimmage.
More physical.
I don't see that. I mean, in this past game, we were fine at the line of scrimmage, and offensively, I'd say they had their share too against our offense. Their defense, they did probably get the better of us, but I don't think there's any sacks. I don't think we did find our spots and run the football. So it's I don't know about that. I think it's pretty close. I didn't feel like the run game was a difference in the game for them.
Given what you've said about the team, the way you like their work habits, the way you like they work together, the chemistry, everything else, these issues that you're detailing, are they particularly surprising to you that they're coming up, that they're cropping up?
It is. It shouldn't happen, especially with guys that have played.
If they're surprising you, how do you?
Well, we just got to keep coaching it, and they got to keep listening, and we got to keep doing it. Just have to keep pointing it out and learn from your mistakes.
Bob, you mentioned Kansas State's loss. Auburn had a lot to do with missing 3 field goals. The other night, Arizona missed 3 field goals, lost their first game of the year. When you see things like that, does that make you even more appreciative of a guy like Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. Michael Honeycutt's been fabulous, so consistent, and we have so much confidence in him. He's been great, so we definitely appreciate him. Yeah.
Well, with the closeness and the talent levels seem to be getting closer and closer all across the board. You guys are winning the special team battle almost every game. How important is that to you to finish out with your special teams playing at such a high level?
Yeah, well, they need to. That it isn't just lip service when it's a third of the game. The special teams, there's a lot of plays out there, and when you're executing them well, it makes a difference. Our kickoff cover team was excellent the other day. I think they averaged 15 yards, and then we get the one for the touchdown. So there's a big difference there when you're able to play well on them.
Now, Alex Ross looks like such a weapon. Is there a way on offense to get him in space, I guess, trying to say?
To put him out at wide receiver, no. To do things like we're trying to do with the running backs, yes. I mean, that's what you're trying to do.
You mentioned, you mentioned Coach Snyder and his staff and the job they do. Does his meticulousness with preparation, does maybe having an open week and an extra date to prepare for you guys, does that make it even more daunting for you, or is it when you go into an open date, is it basically the same amount of work? And
well, I'm sure they've got extra work on us. Definitely, it's usually that way with everybody.
Is that a little more concerning then?
No. I mean, I've known the schedule for a long time. It didn't just happen. So, I mean, it's just the way it is.
I guess Coach Snyder's pretty good at it, is what I'm saying. He's been good at it for a long time.
That's been well documented.
Talk a little bit about Jake Waters, K-State.
Yeah, Jake's doing a great job for them. Great arm, he can run it. He does a nice job running it when they ask him to. He, a few times a game. He does a nice job at the line of scrimmage with changing their plays. So he's executing the way they want him to. He's doing an excellent job.
What's the key to maintaining a mobile quarterback like Stoops or Waters?
What's that?
What's the key to containing a mobile quarterback like Stoops or Waters?
Just gap integrity, reading your keys, in particular at the linebacker positions that your keys take you to where you need to be. So just good discipline there.
Any chance of seeing any different receivers? Seems like some of the good throws, Trevor had a couple that catchable with guys that weren't named Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, that's another part of we had another drop, in a critical situation on the third down. So there's a chance, some of these other guys can be out there.
Tyler Lockett had a big game last year. You just mentioned some communication problems with the defensive backfield. How much more pressure does that put on the backfield?
Well, Tyler puts pressure on every secondary, and every week you watch him, he's making plays. So you definitely have to be aware of where he's at and what your coverage responsibilities are. He's a great weapon for him.
Jordan Phillips was talking about the grind of, 3 bus trips this year and how that, at least to him, it kind of taken a little bit out of him. Is that something we overlooked about going that far away from home, getting that month away?
I don't want to say it shouldn't be, but if it is, it is. You're not going to play all your games at home. Where we get on the for us to load here, go to the airport, get checked, it's going to be the same thing flying. So it's just the way it is. It isn't something for me to talk about. We have been on the road for 3 weeks, so now we get to be home.
Last year, Trevor had success run the ball against Kansas State. Would you like to see more from the quarterback run game?
Oh, at times, yeah.
Whenever I hear people sort of talk about Coach Snyder and why he's been so good, I think that I hear things you hear about all coaches who have had success. They work hard, they work long hours, they're very detail-oriented. Is there anything that he just does better than everybody else that's sort of clear? Is he he's an old man to be a prodigy, but is he a prodigy in some ways that other coaches just aren't?
I don't know. That's a little bit too in-depth for me. Coach Snyder's a great coach. Again, I appreciated my time with him. I loved the 7 years I was there. They were great for me. I was worked with great people along with him. And, it afforded me other opportunities that have led me to here. So anyway, it was, I always appreciated my time there with him and the whole group we had there.
Well, a two-part question for you. One is about the identity, and that may be an overused word or an oversimplified word, the identity of the offense. What would you like it to be right now? And then the other part, when you get done answering that.
I don't know what you want. I don't have a word for identity. I like to see one that scores a lot and is efficient and, and one that's well balanced, that you could, run and pass.
The second part is on recruiting. Do you have to recruit a specific type of quarterback to have a specific type of offensive identity? For instance, a running quarterback or a dual threat quarterback gives you a different identity than just a pocket passer.
And anymore, there's so many that can do both. I see, and you see it, at so many anymore that are able to do both. So ideally, that's the ideal guy you want.
Ideally, you want a guy that can do both.
Mm-hmm.
Samaje was talking about, he watches a lot of film, but he's learning the most from actually getting on the field and playing and becoming a better running back. Things like he's learned not to look where he's going to go because linebackers will figure that out pretty quick. I'm curious, even though his numbers haven't been what they were against West Virginia, you see him becoming a better running back with little things?
Definitely. Samaje's doing great. And the other day he had some excellent plays when we really needed him in the second half and finding the right space, making the right cut, catching the ball on the third down out there. So you know, he's doing a great job, and you know, there's so much more to come. He's just such a young guy.
Guys have natural talent, but was that a concern for you? Because we talked about, you know, how his teams were up really big in high school. He's on a really good team. He didn't really have a ton of experience as a running back.
Yeah, but you know, you believe in his talent, and I believe also in you know, how mature the guy is, you know, at everything that he does. You know, that he's gonna pay attention to detail.
That third down throw to him, he would be the guy I would think in your backfield that a lot of people wouldn't think you're going to throw to. Was that part of it? Was that he's a little bit of a decoy running forward, and you get him out on a pass and nobody expects it?
No, you know, because he's caught the ball out there, and he's not easy to deal with either one-on-one out there. So, you know, we thought it was a good matchup.
Bob, you mentioned wanting to get the quarterback run game more going. Is that a matter of play calling, or is it a matter of Trevor, you know, pulling more on the zone read? Or I mean, I guess where would that come from?
It'd be some of both.
Do you think both of those things have been part of the issue so far this year in
No.
terms of not getting that more involved?
No.
Is the give there, or is the keep there most of the time? Looks like
It's different every play.
Okay. It looked like the Texas end was really crashing in and selling out to take away the run, and the possibility of something on the edge was there.
You think?
Yeah. So, no.
No reaction to that.
Do you wish maybe he would have kept it more often?
Heck, I wish he'd have kept it every time and went 100 yards every time. That'd be real simple.
There's a feeling, Bob, that you're still being cautious with regard to him picking the spots just because of the health from a year ago. You want to keep him from taking shots. Does that still pervade with regard to
That's something for sure to consider if you're in my shoes. Definitely. You know, you see people around the country lose their starting quarterbacks. Things don't generally work out real well.
If it's a year from now and you have more experience behind him at quarterback, do you feel differently about that?
Sure. Things are always different from year to year, you know. But
What would you like to see Cody do in practice or during the week or whatever to be able to?
He's doing fine. He's doing great.
Bob, with Bond, could you start playing Geno a little bit more at the 4 technique, especially when you have 2 or 3 guys hurt there, or 2 guys?
Yeah, at times Geno could still play in there, definitely.
What is the cast? You ever played with the cast? And if not, what does it do to Dominique?
I caught a punt with the cast in a game. How about that? So I had a broken thumb for about half the season one time. So.
What is it? What does it restrict you from doing, and how will it affect Dominique's play?
I don't. You know, he played the whole second half the other day and played well with it on, so it won't be any different. It's just a little harder to latch on and hold somebody. But other than that, you know, he should be able to do everything the same.
How did you feel the defensive line played?
The defensive line played. Jordan Phillips played really well. Played great in there, actually. He was one of our players of the game with Zach Sanchez. Romar played great. Chuka was good. So, you know, those guys had really good games.
How was the switch to the 3-man front? It seems like that's really been good for Jordan and just the way he's developed. I mean, what about him makes him suited to play that role in this defense?
Well, just physical presence, you know. He's 6'5", 330-some pounds, you know. He's and generally is, you know, on the center is not always one-on-one. Guards are usually coming to help, but he's got a lot of physical presence in there on the center.
If Kansas State had made the plays you mentioned earlier against Auburn to win that game, the world probably looks at them a lot differently than they look at them now, and still they're, I guess, ranked between 10 and 15. Are they very likely one of the best 5, 6, 7, 8 teams in the nation?
Absolutely. I think they're playing great when you watch them, and you know, the way they're executing, they really look good.
Kansas State leads the Big 12 in third down efficiency. How does that success, I mean, how are they able to achieve that success against quality teams they've been playing?
again, really good execution on third downs, and they've done a good job getting into third and shorts. More than some people, and executing when they have.
When you first got there at Kansas State, did you ever really believe that they're going to have the success they've had over the years now?
Yes, I did. That's why I think we were able to do it. Not just because I felt it. I felt Coach Snyder really believed we would. And you got to know I'm coming from an experience with Coach Snyder and Coach Fry at Iowa, where that's all we did was succeed and win. And I'd only been gone from there 9 months to Kent. So when I was hired at Kansas State, I was a young guy. Maybe a positive for me was I was really naive. I didn't know how downtrodden that program was. I wasn't paying attention to that. And all I knew was from Coach Snyder, Coach Fry, all of those guys at Iowa was winning. So it never entered my mind that we wouldn't win. And now that first year was a little trying, when we had to come from behind to win our one game against North Texas State. And we rang the victory bell, and they tore down the goalpost and took it downtown, and then we didn't win another game. So it was we were all tested, but no, I believed, always did that we would win, and I think the guys that were all there and stayed for a long time with Coach Snyder is because of that. Is why we did win.
What has delayed both Charles Walker and Keith Ford? I think you said on both of them you thought 2 to 3 week injuries, and now it's looking like more than twice that amount.
Nothing has delayed it. They just haven't healed as fast as they had thought.
Bob, you mentioned earlier today on your teleconference call that you didn't know that Zach Sanchez had on a headband that said "Free Frank Shannon," had on eye black that said "Free Baker." I wonder how you feel about your players making those kinds of statements.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. I don't like that. I stand by the university and what we've done, and so that'll be addressed.
Is there a time or place where they're able to make their thoughts known like that? I don't know that there would be, perhaps, but
no, nothing team related is to be made public, and that's same on Twitter, same on any social media, and I would regard that as social media. The team matters are to be with us. Period.
Bob, Mark's having a great season out of Kentucky, 5-1 now. Do you get a chance to watch very many of their games? And if so, just sort of what's been your reaction to their success this year?
Yeah, I don't get to see many. We played at the same time this past week, so. But I'm excited for what they're doing and what he's doing and his staff and team. They continue to make improvements and playing hard, playing well. So, hopefully they could keep it going and just keep adding to it.
This week they're playing LSU. I think this is now all three of you guys have coached against Les. You guys talk about things like that at all?
Huh? Yeah. No.
Do you know Dan Mullen much?
No, not I. Just say hello, but haven't spent much time with them.
What about Hugh Freeze? What's your reaction to the state of Mississippi kind of being the epicenter of college football?
They look good. They've done a great job. They look like they're really good teams. The little bit I've been able to watch them.
They look well coached, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Bob, it hasn't been, I don't know if cheery is the right word, but it hadn't been as up around here the last couple of weeks. But if you beat Kansas State, you got Iowa State next, then you get to 7-1. Is that something that you look at the team and say and address how a season kind of goes up and down?
No, I just look at this week and I look at what do we need to address and really focus on for us to be better. And really that's all that matters, is what are we able to do here this week, to help us give ourselves a better opportunity to beat Kansas State, and that's what really matters. Nothing down the road matters other than that, and so that's how we go about every day is working to be better and be as prepared as we can be for Kansas State and to play our best.
I feel like there was improvement made between TCU and Texas in certain areas, I guess there's going to be improvements, but overall?
Well, it's a heck of a lot better winning than losing. That should be pretty obvious to everybody, so yeah.
But in the execution and the style of play, was that better across the board as well? Or?
Yeah, because you won. It's a heck of a lot better. So now, is it good? Is it where we at the end all for us? No, but we're 6 games into it. So we anytime you come away from the Cotton Bowl with a rivalry game like that with a win, it's pretty darn good.
You get frustrated because you won and yet you still get so many questions about what's wrong?
No, that's the nature of everybody. You know, that's the nature of what you guys do. It's the nature of what fans do. But you know, that's okay. I'm not a bit complaining about it. That's what you do. I get, you know, we get to put the trophies in the case, and guys get to see them here for this year, and that's a real positive.
You seem like though sometimes you're caught between, you know, what you want to say about it publicly, and then obviously we don't know what you're saying behind closed doors. But I think fans sometimes feel like because you're not running people down or whatever publicly, not that you do behind closed doors, that you're not urgently trying to fix things behind closed doors.
Yeah, well, again, I'm not gonna, you know, these aren't professional players. I'm not gonna call kids out by name and point out in detail what they did, you know, that maybe that isn't the best, isn't right, isn't what we worked on, but that's not gonna happen with me. So you can bet in our meetings it's being addressed, every bit of it. So, you know, we gotta keep working on it.
Sort of piggybacking on Dean's question, you struggle in a game and you lose, you struggle in a game and you win. To put together a game against a good team, and I guess it's easy to think about Kansas State last season in that way. To play a game really well and win and look good doing it, does the whole team feel differently going forward from a game like that? Can you set yourself up to just move forward?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it can boost you, you know, and it can give you, you know, a boost or give you some momentum.
I wouldn't say that DeMarco was ever really in Adrian's shadow, but kind of in his wake. What are your thoughts on kind of what he's been able to do this year?
Yeah, really excited for DeMarco and proud of him. You know, he's just had such a great year, and just, you know, knock wood, he can continue to stay healthy, and he's helping them win. And I got a text from him. I just congratulated him when I got home last night, sitting on the couch, and he hit me back late in the early hours that it's funny how he said you just got to keep chipping away at him, and he said eventually something pops. And that's, you know, it's kind of like Samaje Perine the other night in our game. You just kept hitting it up in there, and all of a sudden something pops when you really needed it to. And that's a lot like what he said. He said they just kept giving it to me, and eventually, you know, a few things break.
It's interesting just in the fact that, you know, he's now considered probably the best running back in the NFL currently, yet, you know, his career here was very good, yet injuries, and he's never that Heisman Trophy front-runner type guy for you.
Yeah, you know, for whatever reasons, you know, sometimes it just hits right for a guy, but he was, you know, when he was healthy, we had him on the field and worked him, so he was a great player here. We sure appreciate him, and again, you know, just incredible guy, great student while he was here as well. You know, so.
You like to remind people you didn't have him in that Florida game?
You know, that's not going to get me anywhere. You know, so yeah, they got Harvin back, and we were without DeMarco. So it's yeah. So start throwing excuses out for me.